Another DMS Chats, this time with my brother, Black Coffee.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome to it, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thanks for giving us your time and everything. Hey, man, this is exciting. I think it's nice to hear from Coffee's perspective, you know, as much as he won't be at the conference, but it's nice to hear from somebody, because at the end of the day, the conference is really about unifying South African dance music.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a couple of questions that I maybe Coffee can help us with, or it will also help us within our teaching. And I think let's look at the South African music scene at the moment. Maybe let's start maybe from a side of the production side. Do you think we've evolved over the past 10 years? You know,
look, I don't even think like people have like problem with buying the equipment. I just feel like most people have a problem with just putting things together, you know. And one of the things that I see, and I think that we like in as a country, is we do not have promoters. You know, when you have a promoter, you have someone who's passionate about the game, someone who curates a certain sound and who understands the needs of the DJs that he curates for. We have no promoters, we just have people that own venues and clubs.
Yeah.
And their mandate is to make money in their clubs. Therefore, they will not really invest on like a really good sound system, because they would rather invest on the couches and how the place looks, because they are running clubs. They're not passionate people about the scene, you know, which is what makes a big difference with what happens outside the country. Outside the country, people are promoters, and this is how we take bookings overseas. If we've never been into your club, we want to know who's there, who was there before. You know, show us the list of people that you book. Yeah. Based on that list, then we know you know what you do. So it's not really about you can pay the fee, because the club becomes iconic based on who they book, you know, and based on who you book and how happy they are, then you've created a solid venue. And meaning the sound is cool, even if I have to call one of the people that you have booked and say, yo, you were in Berlin, how was it? They can vouch for you.
Yeah.
So this is how it works outside, where it's the promoter who knows how important it is to create a reputation with their club or a venue or a festival. And because that reputation allows him to have access to DJs.
Yeah.
Whereas in this country, people own venues. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just how the system works. So in their venue, they're going to want the hottest artist. If the hottest song in the country is a gospel song,
no one can there.
Yeah.
It is.
So they can have Crystals on Friday, they can have Rebecca Malope on Saturday.
Yeah.
If she has a big song. They can have Amapiano on Sunday if there's a big song. They can have a rap on Monday if there's a big song.
Yeah.
Meaning all they want is to capitalize on the biggest song. So I feel like what our industry needs is promoters, people who are really passionate, who understand what it is to build whether it's a club or a venue or an event. And there's a few guys, I mean, I've seen. Trev the Japanese, for instance, you know, he's a DJ as well, but he curates shows, you know, he brings certain kind of people, and he's created a certain respect for himself You know, he has a resume. People can check on him. You know, if they're from outside, or you want to book me, who did you book? They can see his resume and the quality of his shows. There's the Music Man, you know, from Durban, who, you know, there's a few guys who get it, who also love music, but then they try to promote, but they don't own the venues. So when you don't own the venues, there's limitation.
Of course.
Yeah. So, but I feel like that's what we need as a country. We need promoters, full stop. People who are strict about the sound they want, are strict about the quality of the sound they have in the
even
venue.
the production.
Because then they perform their best. Because when they perform their best, it's their reputation at stake, and they're able to build a stronger brand. And one of the reasons I kind of like slow down and also taking gigs here at home is having to go to places where what I don't want is not there, and it's always been a problem. And they tell you, but so and so is here.
Yeah.
No one complained. No one complained about a speaker with no talks. Why are you complaining?
Yeah.
You know, so we decided to limit ourselves and start creating events, or rather party brands like Africa's Not a Jungle, where we say exactly what we want. We can curate the lineup. Sort of the reason I actually even stopped doing the bashes, because then you get to play with everyone, and then you get swallowed up by the sound.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So we started creating a space. This is what we do deep in the city, you know, which is not a money thing. It's more of a platform we're creating for this sound that we're trying to pioneer.
Sure.
So, and we're not saying people must stop what they're playing so they can play here. We're saying if you're playing and you're loving this kind of music, here's a platform, you know. Because we also have been receiving mixed feelings about it, you know, like I've met a couple of ladies like, no, but why don't you book lady DJs? Why don't you book so-and-so? Why don't you? And it's always been about, now you have to explain rather, like, it's not really about the names or whether you're male or female. We want people that play a certain kind of music. It's like you're doing a hip-hop party. You want hip-hop DJs.
Of course.
Full stop.
Yeah.
You know, so we're trying to help pioneer a certain sound, and we don't want people to change whatever they're playing. We're just saying, if you also playing the same thing, come through. But it helps because then we are able to pull in what we want, this kind of sound we want. We put the stage layout the way we want, because we become the promoters of course. Instead of demanding that from people, you know, it's because it lacks, and it does not just also lack because people don't want to. I'd say it's a lack of knowledge,
100%.
You know, which I believe creating this platform where people can speak and you bring outside people to come share their knowledge, it can help. I mean, I feel like there should be a platform that, you know, should be even at the conference created for promoters. Whether it's 2 or 3. You know, where the...
And it's funny, you've actually mentioned a few of them that we actually have on the conference, and because we've seen that.
Yeah.
And we've seen that when you curate your day with a bright lineup, even the right sets at the right times in a certain sense, and with the right atmosphere, you know, and the right sound, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And people party different.
Yeah.
I think one thing I noticed, I think, and a lot of South Africans don't know who don't travel overseas. Overseas people get to a club and they start dancing from the first song.
Yeah.
We kind of had this notion we must chill. I don't know, we buy these buckets.
2 beers first.
Yeah, and then we chill, and then when, you know, we'll dance on this song, we won't dance on this one. People go there and party. You know, and I think also it's because the night is curated that way, the mindset is set that way. The sound, the atmosphere, the venue, what it sells and everything. And, you know, you're kind of going there just for the music,
Yeah.
purely for the music and purely for the DJ and the vibe.
Yeah.
And we are not doing that. And so somebody will just go there because, okay, there's one headline act, so people go for the headline act.
Yeah, and then when they finish playing, they, like our time we play, and they come and they call. Mostly when the headliner is done with their set, but then also the headliner now is under a lot of pressure. You know, that's what I'm saying about bashes, where, you know, I'll be the headliner, then I'm performing after like quite a tempo,
Yeah.
you know, sound, and then I'm coming with something that is totally different, but I'm the headliner,
Yeah.
you know, and then I don't hit as hard as I should as a headliner,
Yeah.
you know, so I've kind of like figured out a way to protect myself from that space, and we've been offered like crazy money, like to do, like, we're doing this big event and please come, but it just doesn't work with the plan, you know, and I'm happy saying there's promoters in the lineup to talk, because I feel like that is the heart
Yeah.
of our sound. You know, without them, if we rely on taverns and bars and clubs to curate our music, it's not going to last.
It's not going to last. And I think another thing that changes the sound as well. If you listen to things on a bad sound system, you kind of make worse music in a certain sense.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because it just doesn't matter. So the sound is not good. It doesn't matter. Where sound doesn't matter, you know, and you don't have to have a $1 million studio to get a good sound.
Yeah.
You just have to have the right ear. And I think that whole setup messes up with the youngsters' minds of where they should go and how far they can go.
Yeah, and also, I mean, because of, I've been to clubs where DJs are forced to, you know, play Afrobeat, you know, for an hour, play hip hop for another hour,
Yeah.
play house for 20 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, and then go back. Now there's I'm a piano, play on my piano for an hour, play house for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's also now dependent on who's buying. You know, and the guys who are buying the tables in the clubs are like mostly foreigners who are like, we don't want to hear no house music.
Change the music.
Yeah. And then the entire genre is now dependent on one guy who paid for the most expensive table.
Yep.
And he decides what's going to play, what everyone in the club is going to listen to. You know, and this is what I said to Tim. I'm like, when we come back, we have to create a platform just for house music where it has to have its own place, and we just go there and play house, you know, despite of who's the biggest artist at the time, what's the biggest genre of music,
Sure.
you know,
It's house.
we just create a house space, and
Yep.
you know, because without that, slowly I felt like it's gone. And so if they play house for 20 minutes in the club, it's really like you know, because it's up tempo, and they will play the most popular songs at the time. And then sooner or later they move to the next. You know, I just feel like kind of like respecting and embracing the promoter space, where we can even create like the prize, like for best promoter of the year, and guys get encouraged and they understand it, because there's also, like, it happens a lot in Europe, where I've seen clubs where like Pioneer has a new sound system.
Yep.
So they will.
It's actually featured at the
they
DMS
will
on one of the floors.
Yeah.
And I saw it at Deep in the City.
Yeah.
And what an
they will
amazing
do it.
sound system it is. Yeah.
So they will offer it to the promoters doing
Yeah.
the most gigs, you know. So they get to a space now where also, where do we test this sound? You know, who's the quality guy that we can give the sound to? So it creates opportunities and exclusivity.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's what's lacking in our country. And then the club people, you know, they can continue booking whoever they book, but as long as we create a
space. A space where people can have that different experience and feel the music in its own rightful way.
Yeah, and the right sound. And
because when you don't have those elements, you lose it.
Yeah.
You can't hear the song properly, you can't feel it properly. And let's be honest, house is a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that you have to feel. And I think, a super chat, man. I think just from maybe a small little thing, production-wise, I mean, we're making a lot of inroads. No matter what, there's a lot of music coming out of our country.
Yeah.
And those who want to criticize can say whatever. But at the end of the day, having a lot of genres is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, some genres are breaking globally, and we're making good inroads.
Yeah.
I think for the DMS itself, if we can talk about the electronic side or the house side,
Yeah.
any tip that maybe the younger producer that's thinking of where do I go from here,
Yeah.
you know, maybe the mindset that he should have or what's working on the house scene or what he should look to?
You know, like in the house space, I think
It's broad.
we are so lucky in the sound space. Like the guys that produce music, even like they will tell you, no, this song is not mixed or mastered, but I just want you to hear it. You know, the guys know what they're doing. You know, over time they've developed an ear. The stuff that I hear, like sonically, like stuff sounds really amazing.
Yeah.
You know, where I find weakness is the new genres. You know, where the song comes in nice and the bass line literally just rattles the speakers in the entire room. You know, and because it takes time to get there, and the house producers have taken time to master their sound.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like we need to, I don't know, I mean, who, but we need to create a space where music can be mixed. We have a couple of mastering guys, you know, and they're quite amazing, but there's no place to mix the songs where it can be put into a system and be mixed quite well. You know, not that the songs are bad. I'm just saying taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, guys have mastered like with headphones, and you get to a club, you listen. You know, we've started also insisting on when we get music, we want only wave.
Yep.
You know, which helps now when you play songs that are done locally and anywhere else. The levels are on the same par, you know, and it has taken time to get to that place, you know, but I just feel like guys have mastered their sound. I can't fault anyone in the house space, to be honest with you. Even guys that were making great music but not mixing it well back then, now everyone is understanding their sound and everything sounds the right way. We just need someone, because there's people who study sound engineering in this country. Constantly, there's a lot of them. But then
we don't see them coming through.
Yeah, because there's no
the opportunities are not there.
No
I think that's one thing we want to address at the DMS. Things that I looked at it are important. Yes, the music scene is one, and that's probably the most important. But then there comes the back end, which is the mixing, the mastering side. I think going into the eventing side, exactly what you're saying, the sound. You know, I mean, I go to a lot of events, and everybody's connected from a mono. You know, so if
no one cares.
Imagine, and you're just connecting one wire. I mean, that's already complete deficit, and the guy's got actually a good sound system, but that alone, and guess what? 1 out of every 3 gigs, it's exactly the same story. The other thing is the lighting side. I've done a lot of gigs. I don't want to mention names because I don't want to bring anybody down. We want to lift people up with the summit. But I mean, it's at so many gigs, amazing production. Wow, what a stage, what lighting. No lighting guy. So the lights are just playing the same way the whole night. Not interacting with the music. There's no lighting guy. That's another career. People, overseas, I see people getting awards for lighting, for setting up lighting, being lighting jocks. We don't have lighting jocks. You know, we don't have good it's not to say we don't have good engineer. I believe we have a bit of everything.
There's no platform.
We are not creating those platforms for them to be there. And let's hope through the DMS, through this year and the years to come, that we can touch base on it. I mean, next year I definitely know we're bringing in lighting guys from the engineering side and just people who do different music styles. In other words, you might be a producer and you'll be doing dance music, but then you could be doing stuff for movies, for adverts and stuff like that. And how do you swap in between that and stuff like that? But it's a growth point. But thanks for joining us. I think this was enlightening. And I think, and thanks for the support. We appreciate it.
Thanks. I mean, you touching on the music for movies. I've always thought. I mean, since the early days of Tulo's music, when I would listen to songs, like I always felt like it'll be so strong in movies.
Yeah.
Till today, I mean, there's so many producers that are creating, like, still in house music, cinematic stuff, and all they lack is opportunity, you know.
And open doors, and to think that way as well.
To understand that there's a career in that, because now everyone wants to produce for dance music. This is why, I mean, in past years I've kind of like come out of that space where I call myself, or I produce like only dance music, you know, because I felt like I was limiting myself. There's a lot of guys who are doing the same, but not realizing that they can do more, but it's because there's no opportunities, you know. I mean, I hope there can be a space where there's some sort of like a sound bank that's created, because adverts people, the networks, the film industry, like there's people who are coming to me constantly. There's a guy yesterday who sent me a message, he's creating a movie about a boxer, and he wants music, and I can't do it. I wish there was a place where I'm like, listen, you know, here's a group of people, you know, maybe that's the space we need to get to, where we even create WhatsApp groups, you know, and and it's not just to gossip, you know.
Yeah, it's actually,
it's a space where, like, guys, they're looking for music here, anyone who can, I mean, and even the film industry can understand that there's a space where all these young people are. I can just send one email and I'll have a list of them to choose from.
Sure.
Because because also what we need to understand musically, and this is my view, music has evolved so much from the classical music composers that understood music in a different way and arranged music in a different way. Those people's spirits still live. You know, you can find that Tulo's soul is of a classical music composer. You know, and that's why he will arrange songs the way he uses. Yeah. But we don't know that because he's confined on a beat.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Da Capo was supposed to be a pianist. But we will not find out because he's going to be limited to one genre of music and has no even drive to take a piano lesson and find out.
Yeah.
Maybe he was supposed to be the world's greatest film scorer outside dance music.
Sure.
You know, and so we need to create a place where...
A platform, yes, and
where
a space.
And find opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we and I've seen everything, but musically, we are the most gifted in music.
Yep.
But all we need and all we lack is opportunity.
Yep. Well, let's hope we can pull it off. I think a lot of ideas will be shared at the DMS 2020. And another thing we plan to do, and we're starting it immediately after, we're doing this mentorship. And we hope to grow. That mentorship is also for people to come in, get advice, and also to identify people, and also to open these opportunities. It's kind of community-based, you know, where I think all of us can chip in and do the best that we can. You know, let's try and build this industry and open the opportunities, you know, and not expect people to do it. You know, at one stage, I think I got so bottled up in looking at everybody and kind of criticizing, maybe criticizing the sound, criticizing this one, and actually not realizing, you know, I'd rather shut up and go do something about it, and rather do something positive and bring people together and try and open the doors rather.
Yeah, I mean, to add on that,
yeah,
it's something that happens in this country a lot where, in fact, around the world, you know, and I'm very vocal about it, how other people think their taste is more superior
to others,
you know, and my conversation is always the same, like, music is a feeling, and it could be to your ear like the worst thing you've ever heard, but to the person next to you, the most beautiful thing I've ever had, because it's a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you close your eyes, you hear noise. They close their eyes, they hear harmony. You know, and it's very important to have a conversation about that, about how we should always embrace what makes the next person happy. So there's no genre that's superior, and it's not a house music thing. It's been happening. I mean, I studied jazz, and jazz artists were always considering themselves the greatest they ever lived.
Yeah.
You know, and it was so hard for me to get out of that space, getting into dance music and the criticism that I got on the highest level.
Yeah.
That's why when the house heads would try, it wouldn't even faze me, because I came from a place where I was like a real sellout, you know, in the jazz music space, you know, where people in that space would be called a sellout for just playing someone's song, and a particular artist. They could still be the great pianist, they could still be the greatest singer, but you sang that song, you are a sellout. So I came from a place where it was the worst place, you know, and you get to house music, there's people who consider themselves the purest, and it's cool, you know, but sensitivity is one of the most important things in the space, because how do you say my music is better than yours?
You can't.
It's an impossible thing to do. So it's cool that you don't like it, because we all have preferences, like we all have choices. It's cool that you do not play it at all. We all have preferences and choices. But to put it down and, you know, I mean, I'd like to speak about it. It's not a thing that I'm uncomfortable to speak about. Like when Lars put out a tweet about Amapiano at the time. You know, one of the things I'm very vocal about is
don't bash.
You know, just me as an African, how we've always been subjected to what the world thinks. You know, it's been an unfortunate thing where we loved everything that came from outside, and the world is like that, you know. But what's usually amazing about that is when you take whatever is from outside and mold it into your local way. You know, so I felt like it was quite a personal attack to attack that genre, because it didn't make sense to him. Because not for the first time, for once, we were creating something we feel. You know, so it's like, you don't like it, don't play it. I've never played a song of Amapiano. You know, like download the music. When I travel, I listen to it, and and it ends there. But I can't get to a space where I'm like, oh, trash. Oh, you can't. This thing is not going to go anywhere. Because also, we are still a very, very developing country where music is a big source of inspiration to us. And it's all we have. Some kids are not great at school, but they're great in music. And once they find a gap in music and they start making small waves, they're able to feed families, you know, and then it becomes a big genre that actually gets the entire country happy in a way that no one else from outside can understand, you know. So it's that superiority where I feel like, that's crap, you know, I don't, and when you have a voice that's bigger than others, then you can't go and put out something like that to say, no, that thing is, you know, it's just, you keep quiet.
No, I'm with you. And another thing is our people are very passionate. And unfortunately, they also like a lot of, I think we as a nation also like bashing each other as well. So the worst part now, it becomes a war between one genre and another. And actually it shouldn't be like that. You know, because now, and that creates disunity. And dysfunctionality. And I'm happy that's kind of simmering down and coming to an end. And I think everybody's kind of saying, oh, you know what, let's go to positivity. You know, there's a positivity. If you look at the positive in every genre, in every music, there is a positivity to it. Let's be honest, maybe rather look at the positive things than look at the negative things. And I've always told myself, when I start looking at that, I start looking at the better of everything, you know, and rather, and the best way is maybe unified. Let's do that. But I guess we're all somewhere in that space and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, these are the important things, and you know, that we'll be discussing at the DMS Coffee. Once again, thank you very much, brother.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. And don't forget, DMS will actually be in a month's time. Make sure you get your tickets. I can tell you right now, they're 75% sold. So make sure you're there. There's a lot to learn, and let's share. Peace. Thank you.